Are you tired of money slipping through your fingers without knowing where it goes? In today's video, we're diving into the top 14 ways people waste money every day and how you can avoid these common pitfalls.
And none of them are to stop buying your favorite coffee. We'll show you how to plug these financial leaks and to keep more cash in your pockets. Stick around because one of these tips could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars each year.
Welcome back to our channel, Richard's Family Legacy, as we document our journey to building our family legacy. I'm Jermaine Richards.
And I'm Camille Richards. We are two siblings working together to establish our goals. And we're bringing it to you here every Sunday.
Today, we're going to be unpacking how we waste money. So this is an interesting topic. How we waste money. How do we waste money?
I feel like it's just an attack on my spending habits, Jermaine.
There's an old saying that says, who the cap fits. But I think this was by the great prophet Bob Marley, right? Who the cap fits, let them wear it. So is this a cap that's fitting you?
I'm gonna wiggle my way out of it one way or the other because I'm not changing. But we can talk about it.
So we did some research on how people are wasting money. And we've come up with 14 ways. And let's dive into it. Let's jump into it. So first one on our list is impulse buying. This is probably one of the biggest ones that I think people face. In fact, many people don't know this, but you know, when you walk into many stores and they have you go through that maze before you get to the cash register, they actually call that the impulse lane, right? And it's designed for people that see a flashlight while they're standing in line. Oh, I need a flashlight. And they impulsively pick up a flashlight. I need a candle. I need a mug. You know, I need those cashews. They're all like impulse. And a lot of sales, they studied this, comes from impulse buying. That's why it's there. That's why majority of stores do that. In fact, certain stores make it an actual lane, like a maze that you have to go through. So
yeah, like Marshalls
buying.
and TJ Maxx.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have to like close your eyes when you're walking through that side.
Yeah. And
nice
they
stuff.
experiment with what works the best with impulse in those
like,
areas,
oh, I can
right?
use another mug.
Yeah.
I can use another to-go container. Of course.
I need a back scratcher.
Yeah, like that. My back was itching me the other day. Or if for like kids stuff, they put a lot of kids stuff there. You must like tell your kids to blindfold them.
I buy the most amount of candy in the impulse lane.
Of course. I bought some taffy today at Trader Joe's in the impulse lane.
Well, it's not me wanting the candy. It's the
Oh, no, I know. But I'm saying I
So you fell victim to the impulse lane.
Well, yes, but someone told me that they needed candy. So
got it. Got it. So yeah, this is a big one. What is your take on impulse buying or spending?
Yeah, no, I think it's a big thing. I mean, I'll be the person that will spend like 5-10 minutes pondering like what laundry detergent I should buy and end up buying the same one and then walk down the clothes aisle and come out with like 15 different pieces in like 5 minutes.
So you're one of those kind of shoppers.
Yes.
So I'm the guy, I walk in to get lettuce, or I walk in to get a pair of shoes, or whatever it is I walk in to get, I get that item and I'm out. I don't walk in for a pair of shoes and then come out with 3 pairs of shoes and another sandal and, you know, some slippers and this. No, if I go in for one item, I come out with one item. Out.
I can do that, and I have done that, but I have to be like in a time crunch. But I also will specifically, so like, for example, and I think we've talked about this on our budget episode, I have a line item on my budget for certain stores so that I can literally impulse buy in that store to up to a certain amount every month. Because
so you feed the habit somehow.
I control it. I control it. But
Got
yes,
it.
some certain stores, I'm like, I don't want to have to like think about it. So I say, okay, this amount of money is going into this account, and that account is where I use to buy in this store. And sometimes I buy things that I need. So maybe I need cleaning supplies, maybe there's like food item that I want. So maybe like I'm buying something for someone else in there. But if not, that money builds up and I can go on a shopping spree when I'm ready. So it's like win-win.
Yeah, got it, got it. Now, impulse by, I would say definition is basically buying something on a whim without really considering whether or not it's truly needed, right? And
Or if it fits in your budget.
or it fits in your budget. So if it fits in your budget, which you budget for it, then
It's not
it's
really an
not
impulse
really an
buy,
impulse
but it
buying,
used to be. But I've corrected it
right? By budgeting for it.
by budgeting for it.
Yeah, got
So
it. Got
whether
it, got it.
whether or not that actually is like the right way, but
Well,
I'm controlling
it
it.
needs the second part of the
Meets the
definition,
second
right?
part. I've made it meet the second part. But
Now
yes,
you
yeah.
see why Camille came in worried about that hat.
Hush, hush. Okay, next one. Subscriptions.
Subscriptions, yeah.
How do those
Memberships.
what like what are we concluding are subscriptions, like those subscriptions for like Netflix, subscriptions for like gym memberships,
I
uh,
would say anything that you're paying on a monthly basis.
and
So if
comes
you,
out
yeah,
automatically.
if you give your credit card and it's
Yeah,
coming out automatically, it's a subscription or it's
yeah.
a membership.
Why are these so dangerous?
Well, the reality is, I think over the last little bit, businesses have now changed their model to subscription. Do you remember Microsoft, for example, used to get a CD, right, for Windows, and you get the Microsoft Word and Excel and all these things. It used to be a CD.
Yeah.
Now it's a subscription model,
Hmm.
right? Because some people kept their Windows 95 way into the 2000s, and people weren't happy with that. The companies weren't happy with that.
Right.
What happens is people most of the time they set it and forget it. And the subscription companies are very smart, right? So they kind of allow you to put in your credit card. And if it's a small enough amount, like Netflix, for example, when they started, the reason they got so big is people forgot about it. It's like $8. It was really tiny. It's kind of almost a lot more effort to go and cancel it.
Yeah. Especially if you can't cancel it on like your phone, or like
Right.
like through a simple like maneuver. Like if
There
you have
is
to
no
like
simple
sit
maneuver.
down
Yeah.
on your computer, you have to like go into this and this thing. The other thing that I've noticed, like I don't know like when you started getting smartphones, but like when I got the first, I think the second iPhone, apps, they either used to be free or they used to be like $1, maybe $5. You pay one time for
One
the app.
time.
And then now, if you want like the full version, it's a subscription. And sometimes I'm like, why am I paying a subscription for this? This is stupid. Because like it's the same function here and here. It's not giving me something new every month. It's the same thing. I don't need a subscription for it.
Yeah, it's a way for them, the companies, I'll say, to have recurring purchases, right? So it gives them recurring revenue.
Yeah.
It's a great business model from a business perspective. Like I've
Oh
seen
yeah.
so many things on subscription models, like socks. You can go get socks
Yeah.
delivered to you on a monthly basis, you know, and
And I
every
mean,
month
I
they'll
would
give you a
probably
free
buy
package.
a sock subscription because I literally need socks every couple of months. But like even Rihanna, when she has her lingerie line, and like you can go and you can buy it, but then you can also buy a subscription, and it's like $70 a month. But the thing is like that money, it goes towards what you're paying for. It can, or it's like um you get like a what do you call it, like a decrease, but you're still paying money, right?
Yeah.
Like you pay the money to be a part of this club, but then you still have to pay to buy, right? So and I joined it because some of her stuff is really nice, but at the same time I'm like, after a while I'm like, why am I why am I paying money? So I it just built it up as credits and then cashed out.
Yeah, it's a great business model from that perspective,
But
but as a
horrible on
consumer,
your accounts.
yeah, from a consumer, because you got to remember everyone's fighting for a piece of that monthly paycheck, whatever that is, right? Everyone's fighting for a piece of that. And that's what all these subscription models are doing. The problem is a lot of people forget about some of the subscriptions and it's so small, you're paying for it and you don't even notice. It was a couple months ago. This happened to me. I saw a couple of lines on my credit card and I didn't know what it was and came to figure out it was some uh, subscription from Amazon when I got my kids the tablet and we signed up and it went through it had like Amazon Kids, right? And it's coming out, but they don't even use those tablets anymore. They don't even use them anymore, but still every month whatever
Yeah.
that cost is coming out. So that's why it's dangerous.
Yeah. Like it's like the most simplest form is like the gym membership. You sign up in January and then you forget to go or you get too busy. And then it's such like it's even worse because to get to the gym to cancel the membership is like such a task. I remember
It
like
is.
Planet Fitness when I joined, like you had to literally write a letter and physically bring it into the place. And I'm like, who has time for that? I'm not going in the first place.
Yeah.
So anyways, yes. So comb through your credit card bill, find those things that you no longer use and cancel them.
Yep. That's a big one. Now, another one is eating out frequently. This one is
Listen,
hard.
Jermaine.
This one is hard, I think, for all of us because yeah, we it's good to go out and get a home like a steak every now and then, right? For me, steak. Um,
And
but
you
I
know
think too frequently is a
yeah.
problem.
And you know what's even worse now? Like the delivery apps, even them are prescription. They
Yeah.
have their own prescriptions, subscriptions. Sorry,
Yeah.
they have their own subscriptions. So, like DoorDash and Uber Eats, there's a couple others. You can now buy subscriptions for them if you want your food delivered on time or whatever. Ah, it's so
Even
painful.
grocery shopping, Instacart, for example.
Yes, subscriptions are the devil.
But as a business,
As a
it's a
business, they're
good business.
amazing. But as a
As a
consumer,
consumer,
they're a
yeah,
devil. Like everything is subscription. That's why like renting is so big too. Renting is just a subscription.
it's a subscription
Yeah.
when you think about it at
When
the
you
end of
think
the day.
about it, everything they basically, and I know this is like something I've seen go around, but they're moving to a world where you never own anything. You have
Yeah.
to subscribe for it, right? Your money is consistently going out, coming out.
Off topic, in Canada, when you purchase land, I don't know if
Own
a
it.
lot of people know this, you actually purchase what's called the fee simple. So the fee simple is basically the crown saying you can use the land however you like, you can sell it, you can transfer, but you can't ever really own it. It's always the crown's land, but you have use for it forever and you can pass it down to generations, traditionally, like how
Yeah.
someone would own something. But if you read what a fee simple is and the definition of a fee simple, you
Mm.
can't ever own it. It means it's always
They
the
can always
under
take
the
it back.
ownership of the
Yeah.
crown. Isn't that crazy? So,
It's
off
interesting.
topic, but it goes on to what you're saying. The world's moving on to
Oh
no
yeah.
ownership of anything.
It's crazy. It's insane. Like even like, and I know this isn't really ownership, but like there's always going to be like an HOA is just another form of subscription.
There's another one. Here
Yeah.
we call it condo fees.
Yeah. Well, because um in America, sorry, in America, they it's not just condos that have it. I think we've talked about this before. It's like single family buildings that
Mhm.
also have HOAs, which I think is the stupidest
But
thing.
it's any home, and HOA is an acronym for, just for the listeners, the
Homeowners
acronym,
Association.
Home Owners Association.
Mhm.
So is it only for, because in Canada it's for it goes towards like landscaping and planting trees and those kind of things that the homeowner because they're not the full homeowner, right? If you're in a condo, there's shared
Yeah.
parts and things like that. Is it the same kind of thing?
So I think it depends on the community that you're in. Sometimes they'll pay like your property taxes, certain utilities, and then like I guess the upkeep of the community. And some
Right.
places will have like if you have like shared areas, so like
Got it.
playgrounds, community centers, stuff like that, that's
Like a
under their
pool or
purview.
things like this.
Yeah, but then they also like make sure that your lawn is good and that you know you don't paint your stuff the wrong colors and all this other stuff that you see on the
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah, yeah. So it is another form of subscription, forced subscription. There's
Yeah,
tons of them.
yeah, it's annoying. But I don't have one yet, but I see it and it gets annoying. Anyways, so yes, so I think we've segued back into subscriptions from eating out. That's how much subscriptions annoy us.
What
Uh,
about brand loyalty? Now, we are in a world where everyone is representing, right? Everyone wants to represent. Different people have different opinions on certain brands. What's your opinion when it comes to brand loyalty? Because, and I'll just set this up, if you are loyal to the brand and the brand knows that, they now have the authority to charge you whatever they want because
yeah.
you're the only one they can get it. You know what I mean? They're the only one you can get it from.
Right. And I think brand loyalty comes to up to a certain point. Some people are definitely have like unwavering brand loyalty. And like examples are like things like Apple products. Uh,
Yeezys,
what are those?
the shoes, the Kanye West shoes.
Okay, so shoes, right? Certain types and styles of shoes. Um, I don't know what else do people brand loyalty to. I don't really have any brand loyalty, like bags and stuff like that. Like
Even everyday things like Tide. I've met people that won't buy any
only
other
buy
laundry
Tide.
detergent than
Yeah.
Tide.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, even though there's a sale on something else, right? So you can definitely end up spending a ton of money on things if you are needing to buy everything that a certain brand is putting out or a certain person is representing. That's a lot of money, and those things tend to be expensive.
Well, you go back to Apple, whenever they're launching a new phone, the Apple store, people are lining up. I've witnessed this. They're lining up around, and it's like they sell spots in the line, or you can pay people to stand in the line for you. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, although I feel like their sales have been going down recently. But yes, absolutely. Apple, any of those types of things that coming out, games, right?
Hmm.
Having to get the newest PS, whatever, and that newest game with it, all of those will fall into having brand loyalty. And doing that when maybe you haven't saved for it, maybe you have other more important things that you need to put that money towards is a waste of money. There's not to say that there isn't a place for fitting in those indulgences, but it has to be budgeted and prepared for in the right ways.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of pressure though when it comes to society and the community. That person that is wearing, instead of the AirPods, he's wearing you know, the
Yeah.
whatever pods,
Hmm.
the Wawa pods or something. And especially kids in school, you go back to that, right?
Well, I
When there's
mean, I think the biggest thing that has recently been is those Stanley Cups. Have you
the
seen?
Stanley Cups, no.
You don't know. See, this is the difference between a man and a woman. Uh, so there's been this craze on these, the Stanley brand, like the tool
Hmm.
brand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they have these water, like insulated water cups, right? That are very popular. A lot of influencers have them. And
Hmm.
over like the holiday, over Christmas, it was like the number one thing for like young girls to get. So there was videos of like a ton of, like teens, preteens, whatever, coming back to school with these Stanley cups, right? For their water, right? But there are kids that maybe their parents they don't know what a Stanley Cup is, or they can't afford a Stanley Cup because these are $45 cups, because who's paying $45 for something to drink your water out of?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so but the family maybe found a $10 one or $15 something. It looks nice. They're bringing it in. They're like, well, that's not a Stanley. That's
Yeah,
not
and that kid is going to get ridiculed.
that kid's getting ridiculed because they don't have a $45 thing to drink your water out of.
By
It's
the way, the brands do that intentionally. They
oh
use
yeah.
that in their advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Brand loyalty, it's dangerous when you think about it, especially in school, right? I remember those days from school.
Yeah.
Kids would come instead of Reebok, they have, like Bebok or Seabok, and they get laughed
They
at.
get
Your
laughed at.
Nike swish is looking funny. It doesn't look
It
like a
goes the
real
wrong
Nike swish.
way.
Yeah, it's facing the wrong way.
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. It's very dangerous and it can be very, again, hard hitting on the people that have to go through it. I think that's why, it's nice sometimes to have when you go to schools that have uniforms and like certain things,
Hmm.
although it doesn't escape it because there's other things that can
There's
get,
always something because
yeah,
brands they play on that feeling that we all have to be significant
and to be included.
and to be included.
You want to belong.
Exactly. That needing to be that belonging and significance, they play on that. So if
Absolutely.
you are not part of that, you feel like an outsider and they use that to their advantage,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sad.
It is. It is.
Now, this
So
next one, I don't know a whole lot about. Maybe you know some more, but like energy efficiency and ignoring it.
yeah, that on the most basic level would be, for example, if you consider those screw-in bulbs,
Hmm.
instead of using an LED, for example, which uses like a fraction of the cost. Older equipment, if like the home has older stoves and older refrigerators, they're not as efficient as what the newer ones are, right? But again, it does come with a cost, investing in those things,
Yeah.
but overall, it'll lower the utility bills later on down the road.
So one of my partners was telling me like he has solar panels and he gets like $400 a month from it.
Hmm.
Like he
Yeah,
actually makes money from them. I'm just
yeah. If you generate more electricity than
yeah.
you use, you actually sell it back to the grid.
Yeah,
So you're helping out the
I thought
grid.
that was pretty cool. Yeah, so energy efficiency. I guess maybe if you buy a Tesla and are not using gas, then that's saving you money. I don't know. Does it?
There's some debate. There's some debate. Generally speaking, it is cheaper from what I've seen, like on the numbers.
Hmm.
But there's another side that say, is it really? Is it really
Yeah,
cheaper? So it's hard to tell. I've never owned a Tesla, so I don't know. I can't
yeah, neither have
comment.
I. I've never really owned a energy efficient vehicle, so yeah, it's hard to comment because of that.
Yeah.
Um, and then this one, I don't know, this one can be a little bit, I feel like can be yes and no, but depending on what you're doing. So not shopping around. So not comparing prices and looking for deals. I think this is important for big purchases, maybe not so much for like the tiny everyday things, unless you're spending like a significant amount of time to,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll
I mean,
have to agree with you.
yeah, because there's a balance, right? Like you're gonna okay, so maybe I don't know, toilet paper is $5 here, but $10 here, but you have to get 15 other things at the second place. Is it really worth driving there, taking your time, gas, and money just to buy the $5 toilet paper, right?
So I knew someone like that. They would basically purchase one item here, the toothpaste over here. They'd go there, get their vegetables. So why are you doing this? They said, I have coupons for that store. I have to use them there, right? And I have to use this coupon over there, and it's cheaper. I said, by the time you drive around, you're actually spending more in gas and time to do all of that. So in my opinion, yeah, I'm not so big on the shopping around for little tiny
Yeah,
small things. Now, keep in mind, sometimes there are sales and things like that. And if you're there when the sale is there, who isn't going to
absolutely.
take advantage of it? Of
Yeah.
course you are, right? Of
Also,
course you are.
some places will actually coupon match too.
And they'll match your coupons.
Yeah, some
Exactly.
places will do that. But yeah, I think it's more important for like you're purchasing a car, you're purchasing a house, things that are up like couple $100 where you may actually find a cheaper deal if you look on a couple places online or go to a couple of stores or buy secondhand. That's where you may actually save a significant amount of money in those cases.
Big items. I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely want to shop around for the big items. Um, Another big one,
Mhm.
and it's almost like impulse, but it's convenience purchases. Convenience purchases. So, like, for example, you go to the grocery store
Yeah.
and instead of buying a watermelon
Yeah.
and going over there buying a pack of strawberries and then
Yeah.
going over there get the blueberries, you go to the pre-cut fruits and
Hmm.
they're all individually cut.
Uh-huh.
That's a convenience purchase.
Yep.
This costs a lot more, right? Because the obviously
So
the package one
easy.
is going to cost more. Well, what's your thoughts? And we can already see what your thoughts are on convenience purchases.
So yes, it costs a ton more. It does. It does cost a ton more. And I think if you have the time and you know that you're going to eat the fruit and peel it and do everything else, then absolutely you should be buying the non-peeled cheaper fruit. You'll save probably like 70% of the cost. What I find with me is that if I like, so I'll buy pre-cut, non-pre-cut food, but if I'm busy, if my time isn't there, I the food will waste if it's not like presented to me. So if I'm going to eat it, then it's got to be like cut and prepared. Because I bought a watermelon a week ago. It's still sitting there, right?
Mhm.
The watermelon that was pre-cut is already eaten. So I think yes, it's definitely more expensive. And if you're really trying to save money and save down on things, then you should not be buying these pre-packaged foods. You should try to take the time and peel, etc. But if you are looking for that and you're low on time, it's helpful, it's convenient,
100%. Yeah,
but
I was
it's
gonna
not.
say for someone that their time is more valuable in that moment, meaning, they have a really busy schedule, their
Yeah,
budget can support it,
yeah.
it might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, but it's definitely like astronomically more expensive. It's not worth it if you really know that you can actually just you take your time and do what you need to do.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, ignoring discounts or rewards. Hmm.
I'm guilty of this, and I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say it before you say it. Um, Many times you will forward me different reward cards, that give different points and things like that. I'm
Mhm.
horrible. I'm horrible for this.
Yeah,
I
I mean, it's give and take. I think there are simple things that you can do. So like there may not be as much in Canada as there is in the US. But like for example, Target, they have a credit card, right? So they have a credit card and you save 5% on the credit card. You don't want to get the credit card.
Mhm.
You can get a debit card for Target that you save the same 5% that has no hit on your credit card, right? You get the same benefits. Get the debit card, right?
Yeah.
And save your 5%. There's no reason why you shouldn't be saving at least the 5%, right? We're shopping in Target, they have this little app thing that you can scan the stuff that you're buying and they tell you if
Mhm.
it's on sale. Scan the stuff, right? Like that's like a simple thing. It takes all of 2 seconds to do,
Yeah.
right? Or like you're in Michael's. These are the places I shop, right? You're in Michael's and you're buying stuff in Michael's. Look to see what their coupon this week is. Get the 20% off of the one purchase or the 20% off of your entire purchase. Save that small amount of money. Why not? Right? Like those are like the small everyday things.
Yeah. You know how I put it? Like how you have someone that um they dabble in something. It's like a hobby.
Mhm.
So, and then you have a professional, right? So, for example, I would barely be considered a hobby basketball player. Okay. I just dabble in it. I'm not a professional. But then you have professionals. I think the same thing is with shopping. You have people that they're like amateur dabbler shoppers, which is me. Okay. And then you have people that are like professional shoppers, like you, right? They have
I'm not a
hacks for
professional
everything.
shopper.
You, you know, um, a lot of your thing, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, we can edit it out if I'm not, but you will pay for a full trip on points. Well,
Mhm.
why? Because you're a professional shopper. You know what I mean?
No, I just look at the resources available to me and I utilize
That's
them.
what professionals do though. Michael Jordan looks at the game differently than I look at it. He's like, no, practicing with your left hand dribble, that's important. I'm like, why you your left hand? I have a right hand.
And
It's
this
a
is why
different
you're wasting
mindset.
money, Jermaine.
Agreed. And I admit this one, I have nothing to say. I can't add any value here. This one is all you.
I mean, no, but there's also, credit cards that do percentages or, cash back. I mean, I'm sure you have a cash back card, right? Like, what if you're going to have a credit card, if you have the credit score to support it, you should have a card at least that gives you a percentage in cash back, right? You don't have a cash back credit card, Jermaine. Where's Latoya? Points? Do you have a points card?
I have well, they're her points card.
Okay.
So I just carry them around in my um
No,
what do you
not
call it?
not the separate card. Like
Oh
a
no, I don't have a no. I
so,
told you I can't add value here.
but even like okay, even dad has one.
Moving on.
I mean, all of these are me, but like this is the one that I'm actually pretty good at. So,
And I can't
but yeah,
comment here.
no, yeah, no, it's fine. But yeah, so stores that you shop at frequently, some of them have programs or discounts or coupons. If you know you're going to shop there, then you should look into that. It's not the same as like wasting time shopping around. It's like if you're shopping there, you should know. I mean, like you have like a Metro's got coupon. You're going to Metro, so you're gonna. Metro is the grocery store, by the way. So you're gonna know the coupons that are there, so you can get those discounts on the stuff that you actually intend to buy, right? No, okay.
Um, I've never in my life used a coupon. I'm just gonna be very honest right now. I've never.
Well,
And I
Jermaine,
don't even know how to use a coupon,
what do
to
you
be honest with you.
mean?
I don't know. I've never done it. Like I've seen the flyers. Like, do you just show the flyer when you get
This is
up at
very
this?
elite. The only other person I could think that maybe say you never use uh coupons is maybe Elon Musk. Maybe Trump.
Really?
Yes. Who is it never use a coupon?
I've never in my entire life used a coupon.
Jermaine, go find a penny saver and cut out a coupon and use one, please.
Okay, homework for this week. Learn
Yes,
how to use coupons.
use a coupon.
All right.
My goodness.
So, what about overpaying for housing? With the
Mm,
housing crisis that's happening,
this
I
is a
don't
big
think
one.
that's unavoidable, to be quite honest with you. In today's market, I
Yeah.
don't think so. For renting or buying a house, I don't think it's unavoidable to overpay. Now, it's unavoidable to go above your means, which is a separate thing, right? I met a gentleman once that he was renting this house. This was when you could get a whole house for $3,000 a month, like the whole thing, upstairs, downstairs, many years ago.
Mhm.
And he he lived in it by himself. So he's renting this thing and he was having struggles with his monthly cash flow. And I said, "Well, why are you um, living in such a large house?" He says, well, his daughter comes and visits him and stays with him. I said, oh, that's nice. How often does your daughter come and visit you? He says, once a year. I said, what? So you have this big entire house that your daughter comes and visits you once a year? He's like, yeah. It's cheaper to get an Airbnb when she comes once a year for a week or a weekend or whatever it is that she comes for. You know what I mean? So and he has to carry that rental payment every single month, and he couldn't afford it.
Yeah. I mean, that's that kind of exactly where I'm sitting too, in that like I rent a basically what they call a junior one bedroom, right? It's a one bedroom. It has a one bedroom, but the bedroom has no windows. There's this one little window here, and it has
Hmm.
a kitchen. It's a nice place, mind you. I like my place, but if people come to visit me, if people want to stay in the city, I have to caution them. I don't really have space to do that. Mom comes to stay with me, she can stay on the couch. Dad comes, it may be a little bit harder. And I'm like, well, should I upgrade? And it's the same thing that went through my mind. I'm like, when they come to stay, they stay all of, maybe 6 weeks,
Yeah.
mom by herself. Mom and dad, a week. They really like for me to upgrade to a bigger place and pay an extra $1,000 a month, right? An extra $12,000 a year for a 6 week visit
It's
doesn't
cheaper to do an
necessarily.
Airbnb.
Yeah, I mean, mom can stay with me for most of the time, and then a week with an Airbnb or something or a hotel.
Or all of you can stay at the Airbnb. You could
Yeah,
get a 2, 3 bedroom Airbnb for 12 grand. Would it cost you 12 grand for 6 weeks for a 2 bedroom
no, it
Airbnb?
may be 1,200.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
you know what I
No,
mean?
absolutely. Yeah, no. So that's why I'm like, I'll stick with my place until I'm ready to like officially buy. And I don't even know when that's gonna be.
Yeah. So overpaying above one's means is difficult. But I wanted to make that distinction because at a point like this, everyone will say, "Hey, how can we not overpay? Rent is
Yeah.
through the roof, you know."
I think it's also the perspective of like you buy what you need, not what
Hmm.
you want, right? Like I need one bedroom, I need a kitchen, I need a couch, right? Like I don't need a whole lot. I need a bathroom, right? And I'm one person. I don't need two bedrooms. I don't need an upstairs and a downstairs. I don't need would I love a balcony? Sure. I don't need it. Would I love to have a lawn and a garden? Sure, but I don't have the time to take care of it. So I don't need those things. But I need what I have. So there's definitely a difference between what you need and what you want when it comes to housing. Yes, it's nice to have, it's nice to strive towards, but you have to, in order to get there and get there comfortably, you have to go through the struggle a little bit.
Well said. So another one that when I was younger, this one affected me a lot.
Really?
Frequent ATM withdrawals. Yeah. You know, until I realized, man, you go to this ATM machine. So if it's not how it works here in Canada, if it's not your bank, they charge like $3 or
That's how it
$4,
works in the States
sometimes
too.
$5. The same thing in the
Yeah,
States,
it's all over the world.
all over the world. Okay. So, you stick in your card and you're getting these fees everywhere. And then, I'm looking at the end of the month and, it's like 50, $60, $70 in ATM fees. It's like,
Mhm.
wow, that was unnecessary. You know, I could have crossed the street and my bank was over there. I could have just went there, but they
Did you
make it
really do that,
convenient.
Jermaine?
Pardon?
Did you really do that?
When I was younger, yeah, and I didn't understand that
Oh, no one taught
happened.
you.
Yeah. This gets a lot of people. Like for example, if you're downtown Toronto and a lot of those things back in the day was cash, right? So I used to go to the nightclubs, for example. You need cash to get in. It's the difference is using the bank machine that's right there in their lobby or going 2 blocks to a TD or a CIBC or whatever bank you use. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? In the freezing cold, guess what most people do? I'll take the $4 hit. But if
yeah,
you do that frequently, right? Once or twice is okay, but if you're doing it frequently, I think that's the big thing, frequently.
yeah. Because it's like $5, but it usually tells you that
Yeah,
what
it tells you.
it is. Yeah.
And the if it's in certain places, they upcharge it.
Hmm.
Like they they'll make it $8 or
Hmm.
something like this, you know?
Hmm.
Like airports, very expensive if you ever have to do that.
Yeah, no, I will, if I, the only time I've done airports is if they have my bank, like my
Hmm.
bank machine, because then I don't get charged.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is something to be very aware of. And sometimes you know, yes, you can avoid it. Sometimes it's worth it. Like if you're traveling, sometimes taking money out of an ATM
Ahead
versus
of time. Yeah.
exchanging. No, no, no. I mean, like in the city, if you need cash, sometimes taking money out of the ATM is better with your debit card, guys, not with
Hmm.
your credit card, is better than going to like a bank or going to an exchange company to exchange cash for cash.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works out better. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Yeah. Agreed. Number 11, you'll probably want us to skip over this. I used to do this a lot too,
Mhm.
with music equipment. So it's brand new tech. You know, when the latest thing comes out, gotta have it, gotta have it. What are some things for you? For me, it used to be music. I'm not so bad in this area anymore. Um, yeah, does this affect you?
No, 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 no.
Let me guess, you budget for it.
No, I don't budget for it. As we've talked about frequently, my brand new drone. So that falls under impulse buying and brand new tech. But yes, so I do definitely fall under brand new tech for certain things. And I would even expand it as to like buying like buying too much for your like hobby kind of, because like for example, I've gotten into pottery recently, and it's like this little rabbit hole. I'm like, oh, I would love to be able to like do it at home sometime, but then I would need a pottery wheel. But then if I get a pottery wheel, then I probably eventually need a kiln. But if I'm getting all of that stuff, I don't have the space, so I would need a bigger space, you see.
Hmm. Keeps
So
going.
it keeps going. So yeah, getting into that like brand new tech. And the thing with tech too is the same thing, right? I'm going to get a new camera. Oh, but if I get a new camera, I'm going to need a new SD card. If I get a new camera, I'm going to need a new tripod. I'm going to need a bag for the camera. I'm going to need a strap for the camera. I'm probably going to need some new software so I can actually, look at my photos and touch. That's about,
Yeah, it keeps going.
$21,000 or $2,100 there. It keeps
Keeps
going.
going.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things, especially if we're going back to tech, it's almost like a subscription because a lot of the things are proprietary, right? That you can only use them with that brand that you
Yeah.
purchased, you know? So you get a Nikon camera, you have to get lens that are adaptable for that camera,
Well,
you
no, you
know?
can find lenses from that aren't, but yes, yeah, that all of that is very true. All right, GoPro, then you have to find GoPro
Yeah.
things to adapt to
Yeah,
it.
you can get aftermarket, but
Yeah, you can get
if
aftermarket.
you're, it goes back to what number were we brand loyalty?
Yeah,
Uh,
number
number four,
four.
brand loyalty.
Yeah, no,
Most
absolutely.
most people aren't going to want
The cheap.
aftermarket stuff
Yeah,
on, on their brand new GoPro. You already went that far. Why not go
why
the
not just
rest of the
buy
way?
it? Why
Yeah.
would justify it? Just buy it. Go ahead.
So tech is another one. Seasonal wear is another one. I can't have that purse. That was last season. I got to have this season's purse.
Yeah.
I got to have this iPhone. I got to have this Samsung. You
Hmm.
know, it's
Yeah.
a big one.
Excessive entertainment spending.
Yeah.
I mean, what's excessive?
Good question. If you have a budget for it, I guess
Yeah, I mean,
you
if
found a hack for it, right? Budget for it.
budget for it.
But
Budget
it's
for it and it's okay.
essentially it's spending too much on things like concerts, movies,
Mhm.
um, different events. And when some people are coming into town, everyone wants to go see them,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
like Beyonce.
Yeah.
I mean,
Beyonce
Beyonce is
or
actually a good example because those tickets over here were like $2,100. People were spending like 2 grand on those tickets. I spent $200 on my tickets and I drove to Canada to go see her.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
spent,
some
yeah,
people, but there's some person that spent $2,100. God forbid they didn't do it on a credit card where they couldn't afford it, and that would be excessive. That would be an example of
Yeah.
excessive entertainment spending.
I think that's excessive. I'm sorry. I mean, I like Beyonce, but spending all that much. Damn it, Marley now. Different story. But yeah. So yeah, going for, buying, what do you call it, front row or VIP tickets when you can buy the nosebleeds for 70% less, getting the
Yeah.
upgrades, getting,
But you know what the problem is, right?
well,
You can't do any because everyone's an influencer these days. You can't do any social media posts with you up in the nosebleeds, right? That can't go across your Instagram feed. It looks much, much more cooler when you're down and you can show how close you are. And this is the problem. That's where the
yeah.
excessive comes in.
Well, I mean, if you really are an influencer and you're going to make $10,000 from that $2,000 spend, fine.
Most
But
people
if
are
you're not,
not
which, yes, which is
influencers.
most people, then why are you doing it? Save your money.
Most people spend a lot of money to impress people that they don't even like
They don't like or know.
or know. Yeah, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes excessive.
Yes, absolutely. Now what about paying for unnecessary features?
This is an interesting one because a lot of the times when you're purchasing a fairly sized spend, you're doing it because there's an emotional attachment to it. So if you're going to get a car, for example, and they have the base model and then they have, the next level up model, you get there, you're like, okay, it's another 15 grand for this package that has all these buttons I'll probably never use. But why not? Why
Mhm.
not spend the 15 grand? I don't even know what half these things are, but the base model, it just looks so base.
Yeah.
This one looks cool. It's an executive package or whatever it is, you
Mhm.
know? And I think a lot of people fall into this with phones,
Yes.
with cars, um, a lot of big spends, I would say. A lot of
Or
features that are not needed.
like at the movies, I don't know if they still do this. It used to be like, oh, you want a medium drink? Oh, but if you spend one more dollar, you can get a large drink. Are you really gonna finish that large drink?
Okay, so I fell prey to that when we go to Canada's Wonderland. You
Mhm.
can spend an extra $15 on each drink, okay? And it's
Okay.
unlimited for the whole day.
How
So
many
I
times
did
did
that.
you refill?
We didn't. We didn't refill it. Maybe once, I think. So that's $30 for two kids having,
Uh-huh.
these refillable cups that you can go to all these stations. I thought it was a great idea. Nope, never refilled.
I don't want any more. I'm good.
That's an unnecessary feature.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So like you see how they creep in. It's not just the big stuff, it's the
Yeah,
little stuff too. It's those little things that get passed off as conveniences that are really expenses.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And then last but not least, credit card interest. So this is where you carry a balance on the credit card.
Yes. And I feel like if you are budgeting correctly, and some people you can't, like, there was a time in my life where I couldn't avoid it because I, needed to, for this was when I was interviewing. So I needed to travel to interview. I needed to be able to pay for tickets. I didn't have money. So I built up a credit card debt. Right. It was like $10,000, $15,000 debt. It was a lot of debt. And I couldn't pay it off because I didn't have an income. I was able to pay the monthly balance, like the monthly minimum,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't pay it off. So that interest kept building, kept building, kept building. And I probably paid like maybe 25
Wow.
on like total, right? So much more because I wasn't paying down the actual bit. When I got a job, that was like literally the first thing I paid off.
Mm-hmm.
But I held that balance for an additional 5 years. Like I held it throughout residency.
You know, there's something called the rule of 72. Okay. So it's a rule of thumb. It tells you how long it takes money to double, right? So for example, if you take 72 and you divide it by the interest rate, it'll tell you the number of years it'll take the money to double. So if you're getting 1% in the bank account, for example, it means it'll take 72 years for if you had 10 grand to turn into 20 grand.
Mhm.
The opposite is actually true. So if you take the average credit card, let's say it's 18%, okay? And you're paying 18% interest on this credit card and you're only making the minimum payments. If you take 72 divided by 18, it means every 4 years, your debt is doubling.
Mhm.
And that's the problem with carrying the credit card interest balance.
Yeah. Yep. I will do anything I can. So I will pull from my emergency, whatever, to make sure that every month I pay off my credit card. I have
Yeah,
zero debt on my credit card,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I get all the benefits because I have a rewards card and a card that gives me percentages.
Yeah, you had to put that in there, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, there, look how many things are me. One, I gotta harp on the one that's you.
Oh, a few of them were mine. So, by the way, thank you for joining us. We'd love to hear what your money saving tips are or what your experiences are when it comes to any of these 14 views. Share in the comments any success stories that you have or any tips that you have how we shouldn't waste our money.
No, 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 no. Just tell me which one that you are in there with me because I need some company apparently.
And
But
by the way, none of them had to do anything with coffee, as Camille promised in the beginning.
yes, because I'm getting my Starbucks. Okay. All
Thank you
right.
so much. Please like and subscribe and
Yes,
leave your
guys.
comments, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.